Hello, so we are going to look at a few more examples of some different transformations in the coordinate plane. And remember, there are different types of transformations that we can do in the coordinate plane. We can do reflections, we can do rotations, and we can do transformations or translations, excuse me. So here are a few examples of these are reflections that we have here and rotations. And then the rule for actually translating something would be to just add to those x and y values. Okay, so let's do an example. We have a rotation of 180 degrees about the origin. Notice I didn't draw anything out, and I didn't have to because there's an actual rule for it. When I rotate 180 degrees about the origin, whether it's clockwise or counterclockwise, my x and y values just change the signs. So we'll do that. So instead of +2, I have -2. Instead of -2, I have 2. And this is for E change, and it should be on the other side. I apologize. For here, it's going to be -1, -2. Just changing the signs. R prime or R transformed is going to give me -3, -3. And S prime or S transform is -5, -2. All right, the next one, it says we're going to reflect against the y-axis. And so this one might be a little bit more difficult to see, and I should have drawn it out for you, and I apologize. But we know that our line y equals 2 is about, so this is 1, so this is 2. So there's my line y equals 2. And I'm going to reflect each of these points against the y-axis. So when I do that, the first point is at I have 1, and then this one is this is 1, 2, 3, so this is right above the 3. And I want to reflect it up right there. So J is at 1, 3, and if I reflect it, that means it has to go down. So how many points is this away from here? It's actually just 1 point away, so that means I need to go another 1 point away. And so my new point should be right here. And so my J reflected is going to be 1, 1. Notice my X value didn't change. The only thing that changed was the Y because I actually had to go down to reflect. Okay. The next one, U is at 0, 5. So 0, 5, this is 2. So we said this is 3, 4, 5, we'll say is up here. So I need this point to reflect over this line. So to have it reflect, I need to see, well, this goes down 1, 2, 3 points. And so I need to go down additional 3 points. 1, 2, 3. So it's here at negative. So this is the reflected. So this is U. This is U reflected. This is J. This is J reflected. So that's going to give me 0, -1. And again, that's just counting down. So this is 3 points away from 5 is 3 points away from 2. And so I go down an additional 3, which gives me that -1 value. R is at 1, 5. This is very similar. I hope you agree. It's the exact same thing. I don't even really need to do it because it's the exact same values that I have here. So instead of being on the actual 0 is here. So again, my X does not change, but my Y does. It's going to change to -1. So this is R, and this is R reflected. Should be doing this in different colors. I apologize. And the last one is at 3, 2. And this is another easy one. So 3 is at 1. Let's say this is 2, this is 3, and this is 1, 2. So it's actually on that line. We want to reflect it. So because it's actually on that line, it's going to stay just right there. So that's the line. That's that point that we're reflecting it over. All right. Let's say that we want to translate 7 units to the right and 1 unit down. So what does it mean to move to the right? Moving to the right is a positive direction and moving down is a negative direction. So if my j is 3, 1, then my j prime, or my j translated, is going to be -3. To the right would be +7, and down would be -1. And so that gives me 4, 0. So if f is at -2, 3, then my f translated is going to be at -2 +7, because it's going to the right, so that's positive. And then my 3 is going to be -1. So that gives me 5, 2. Just adding and subtracting here. And then n is at -2, 0. So again, my n prime is going to be -2 +7 because it's going to the right, and 0 -1 because it's going down. It's in the negative direction. So that's going to give me 5, -1. All right. I think we can skip this. We know that going to the right is going to be plus, going down is negative. So let's go on to some different examples. All right, so here I have another example. It says a 90 degrees clockwise, 90 degrees clockwise about the origin. I want to rotate it. So for me, and this might not be for you, you could probably easily see which one is 90 degrees about the origin. So here is my origin point. I have a really hard time seeing it, so I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try to see if I can see it. So I'm going to just write down what my points are. So for the example, this point here is at -5, -4. This point here is at -1, -4. This point here is at -5, -1. And a 90-degree clockwise rotation is going to give me, I'm going to change my y value is going to come first, and my x value is going to go second, and I'm going to flip this, change the sign of my x value. So for example, this value of -5, -4 will become -4, +5. So let's put that point there. So -4 is here and +5 is here. So this is my new point. Now let me change my colors. Okay. Here, -5, -1, what does that change to? That's going to change to -1. And my sign is going to be +5. So let's put that here. So that is -1, 5 goes here. All right, the next one, or the last one I should say, is going to go to -4, +1. So that's going to go to -4, +1, and there I have it here. So if I draw this out, and I should have kept better, I did keep up with it, but I didn't make sure that you understood what I was keeping up with. So this point is going here, and this point is going here, and this point is going here. And so this is why I know it's B as opposed to D, because it looks very similar, right? I could have drawn it the other way, but it is actually B. All right, let's do one more for the road. So it says, what are the coordinates of RST if the figure is reflected over the x-axis and translated down 2 units? All right, so we have two translations here, or two transformations here, excuse me. To flip it over the x-axis, let's do that first. So if I flip R over the x-axis, what changes? My y changes. It changes sign. So this is going to become 3, positive 4. So I'm just basically staying in the exact same place. I'm just moving it over the x-axis. So it's coming up 4. My S is going to be 3, 7. And notice I'm not putting the actual translation mark because I actually have to do down 2 as well. And my T becomes 8, positive 7. Now, what does it mean to translate down 2? That means that I'm moving down, I'm subtracting 2 from my y, right? So when I'm going up and down, that's dealing with my y-axis. So down means to subtract. That means the negative of. So that means that my S prime is going to be 3. 4 minus 2 is 2. This was R, excuse me, I'm sorry, this is R, this is S, it's going to be 3, 7 minus 2 is 5, all right, T is going to be 8, and again, 7 minus 2 is 5. So which one is that? 3, 2, 3, 5, 8, 5 is D, and I hope this helps.